Hello, my roots are Western, and welcome to another Cinema Saturday. Yeah, that's right, I got rid of the jingle because I just don't care for the stupid jingle anymore, so get used to it. Now, I know what you're thinking. Whoa, there are two Cinema Saturdays this week, one on the main channel and one on the extra channel. What's going on here? Well, a person who's asking me this question telepathically over the internet, I have two reasons for this. Number one, I missed one last week, and I just was so upset about missing a Cinema Saturday that I was like, screw it, I'm doing two next week so I can, kind of catch up, And number two is, I'm going to be doing this review also for the Moosh Movie Club for Olga K, because, I like sending in submissions for her movie club. This week I watched Fred the Movie. Now, I have two questions for you if you have not yet heard of Fred Figglehorn. Number one, where's the rock you've been hiding under? And two, are you new to the internet? And if so, welcome to the internet, I guess. Now, originally, Fred Figglehorn was a character created by Lucas Cruikshank for YouTube videos, all the Fred videos. And apparently, they got so popular that Nickelodeon said, hey, you're popular on YouTube. We're going to make a movie for you. You in? And I guess he was like, okay, let's make a movie. And now we have Fred the Movie. So, you have Fred Figglehorn, who's madly in love with one of his neighbors, Judy. She's this pretty blonde British girl. But for some reason, with Fred being Fred, he thinks that her British accent is a Southern accent. And then there's also another neighbor Fred has called Kevin. And Kevin is, to put it in very simple terms, he's a douchebag. And then he has a third neighbor, Bertha, who's, I don't know exactly how to describe her. She's kinda metal goth, I don't know. But yeah, she's actually kinda cool. Fred's going on and on about whatever, because it's Fred. And he keeps saying he's gonna invite Judy over to hang out and saying all that good stuff, because he's so madly in love with her. So he tries to go over to Judy's house to invite her over, but Kevin is a douchebag and scares him, so he runs back inside, and he gets a pep talk from his dad. Well, it's not really his dad, it's in his imagination, and his dad just so happens to be John Cena, from the WWE, like, you can't see me? Oh man, I haven't watched wrestling in a long time, but that's probably going to stick with me forever. John Cena gives Fred this little pep talk about, you gotta do it, man. Your time is now. And Fred's like, my time is now! So, after a few hijinks, he dresses up and he goes over to Judy's house to find that there are Asian people inside Judy's house. So naturally, Fred being stupid, he thinks that Judy has been kidnapped. But then his mom tells him, no, Judy moved, and Fred's all like, I'm not actually going to do the voice because I can't, but he's all broken up about it. Then he dreams that his dad received a message for Fred from Judy saying that she was kidnapped by her parents, and Fred decides that he's going to go save her. So when he wakes up, he gets all packed up and ready to go, and while he's going to the bus stop, he runs into Kevin, who's just drilling him about where he's going and all that stuff, but Fred's not actually going to tell Kevin, because he doesn't want Kevin to know, because Kevin's a douchebag. And while Fred's trying to get away from Kevin, he actually ends up taking the wrong bus. So that takes him all the way, just in the wrong direction, basically. And with Fred being Fred, incredible hijinks ensue, like him getting buried up to his neck in sand, going through a car wash to clean himself off, trying to buy a Pomeranian dog because he thinks it's a squirrel, and there's just so many weird things that go on in between this entire movie, because it's a Fred movie, of course. Finally, after a long day, Fred finally makes it to Judy's house, and turns out Judy was throwing a party that Fred wasn't really invited to. And Kevin's at the party, so he's just bombing on Fred. Like, hey, what are you doing here? You weren't invited. Just being his normal douchebag self. I'm going to keep saying this. Kevin's a freaking douchebag. And just to cover it throughout all this time, douchebag is kind of a bad word. So Judy confronts him saying, Fred, what are you doing here? And then Kevin throws this slice of pizza on Fred, and then Fred gets so embarrassed that he ends up throwing up, and then he throws up again on Judy, and then he runs away. And when he gets home, his mom tells him that a friend of Fred's sent her this video of Fred, and it's the video of him throwing up at the party. And there's like already 50 hits when he watches it, so he's freaking out, and he decides he's going to throw his own party. So he goes out, makes invitations, gives the first one to Kevin, say, here's your invitation. He opens it up, he says, you're not invited to my party. So it turns out Fred's sending out disinvitations. So he goes around town handing out disinvitations to all the kids that were at Judy's party, and eventually he goes to Bertha's house, hands her one. She saw the video, but she didn't think it was funny. And Fred decides, oh, well, you can come to my party then. Bring everything you can. And so, at the party, Fred and Bertha just do all this, they set up all this crazy stuff. And they make a video, like, glamorizing and making the party look awesome, even though it was just them two and Fred's mom at the party. And Fred's mom wasn't even really there. She was sleeping most of the time. Fred ends up putting out the video, and like everybody at the school is like, either they say they were there even though they weren't, or they're like, oh, I couldn't go, I was sick, or my girlfriend wouldn't let me, and all that stuff. Because the video Fred made the party look incredibly awesome. Like, I wish I was at that party. And I know it's just from a movie, man. So Judy ends up coming over to Fred's house, and she comes over, she apologizes for not inviting Fred to her party in the first place. And he accepts the apology, and then she asks if she can, hang out and they can sing. So, he invites her in, it's presumed they have a great day, and it's a super mega happy ending! Yay! Now, I understand why a lot of people just want to stay away from Fred the movie. I understand, because Fred's voice is annoying. I'm admitting it. It is really fucking annoying. Fucking is a bad word. But that's just part of the hilarity of the character that is Fred. Now, despite everybody that doesn't like this movie, I say, screw them. This movie is freaking funny, okay? There's just a lot of stupid, funny stuff that happens in this movie. The whole bit with John Cena as Fred's dad, that alone is hilarious to me. I mean, every time John Cena came on, I knew this is going to be a funny scene. And you know what happened? I laughed my ass off every time in all of those scenes, because John Cena just did a good job at just being silly funny, And then you have Lucas Cruikshank, who plays Fred, and I think he's a great actor for a kid his age. He's incredibly funny throughout this entire movie. His silly craziness, it's just plain funny. And as awesomely funny as I think this movie is, I did have, just one problem. And it was with some of the scenes in the editing, they screwed up the continuity. Like, when he's trying to unbury himself. At first you see him starting to climb out, but then, 2 seconds later, he's back under it again, just, rising out of it. It's like, that just doesn't look good. I mean, if you're gonna go with him coming out, because that's obviously important, of him coming out of the sand hole that he was buried in, at least keep it so it all makes little sense. Not him coming where he's halfway out, he has his arms free and everything, and then he's back in, and he's just getting his arms free in a totally different way. And because of that one little problem, I'm gonna have to give this movie a small no. Or, for the folks who would rather want a more conventional rating, I give this movie a 4 out of 5. So what would you guys give this movie? Did you see it and did you like it? Let me know in a comment below. And since this is for Moosh Movie Club, I guess I gotta do this. Moosh! Alright, see you guys later.